Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm always on the lookout for fresh perspectives on personal growth. And well, this time we're diving deep into the world of manifesting wealth.
Oh, yeah. I know you're a bit skeptical when it comes to some of these more out there concepts.
Oh,
That,
yeah, I mean, who isn't right? But I have to admit, the episode you shared with me, Manifesting Wealth, an abundance guide from the Manifest Your Life podcast, definitely piqued my interest.
it's definitely got a catchy title.
It does. And I'm always curious to hear how people approach the topic of money, especially when it goes beyond the usual financial advice.
Right, and that's what I found so interesting about this episode. It's not just about budgeting or investing. It delves into the idea of money as energy and how our mindset and beliefs directly impact our financial reality.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye too. I'm always a bit wary of those overly simplistic approaches to money? Like
Mhm.
just think positive and the money will magically appear.
Right. But this episode takes a more nuanced approach. It's about understanding the deeper psychological and energetic principles at play.
Okay, so let's break it down. This episode features host Jazz and a manifestation coach named Amatalian. Where do they start?
Well, they begin by encouraging listeners to examine their current relationship with money. Like, really dig deep and uncover any hidden beliefs or emotional patterns that might be blocking wealth.
It's like taking inventory before you start building something new, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the foundation upon which you're building your financial future.
And I'm guessing this is where the whole money as energy concept comes in.
You got it. Amadalian argues that money, like everything else in the universe, is energy vibrating at a certain frequency.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection here. So our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs also have a vibrational frequency, right?
Precisely. And if we're constantly worrying about money or viewing it as scarce, we're actually emitting a frequency that repels wealth.
So it's like we're pushing away the very thing we want to attract.
In a sense,
Hmm.
it's like trying to tune into a radio station, but you're on the wrong frequency. You're not going to
Yeah.
pick up the signal.
Okay, that's a great analogy. So how do we shift our frequency then? I'm guessing affirmations come into play here.
They do. But a Medinian goes deeper than just repeating positive phrases. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about identifying and dismantling those deeply ingrained beliefs that block us from manifesting wealth.
He calls them wealth repellents, right? I remember that term from the episode. It's pretty catchy.
Yeah, it definitely grabs your attention. So how do we uncover these hidden repellents? Ahmadian offers a series of self-reflective questions designed to expose those subconscious beliefs.
Like what kind of questions?
Well, for example, he asks listeners to consider their earliest memories related to money. Pay attention to any recurring thoughts or feelings that arise.
So it's like digging into our past to understand our present relationship with money.
Exactly. And he also suggests examining our current financial behaviors. Do we tend to overspend, hoard, or make impulsive decisions?
Oh, yeah. Those patterns can definitely reveal a lot about our beliefs about money.
For sure. And once we've identified these wealth repellents, then what? Is it simply a matter of replacing them with positive affirmations?
I'm curious to hear how he addresses that.
Well, while affirmations can be helpful, Amayan suggests a more nuanced approach. He recommends replacing those limiting beliefs with what he calls empowering truths.
Empowering truths. Okay, that sounds interesting. How are those different from affirmations?
Well, empowering truths aren't just positive statements. They're grounded in our personal values and experiences.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you have a limiting belief that money is the root of all evil.
Oh, yeah, that's a common one.
A simple affirmation might be, money is good and bring joy. But an empowering truth might be, money is a tool that can be used for good or evil. I choose to use it ethically and to create a positive impact.
Oh, I see the difference. It's about consciously choosing how we view and use money rather than just trying to convince ourselves it's inherently good or bad.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of our relationship with money and aligning it with our values.
I'm really liking this approach. It seems much more grounded and empowering than just wishful thinking.
Right. And Mayan emphasizes that true wealth manifestation isn't about manipulating energy for selfish gain, but rather about aligning ourselves with the natural flow of abundance.
It's about becoming conscious stewards of our resources.
Exactly. And this aligns with the idea that when we operate from a place of abundance and generosity, we naturally attract more of the same.
Okay, so we've covered the foundation of understanding money as energy and identifying limiting beliefs. But what about the practical steps for manifesting wealth?
Now you're talking, Amayan outlines a three-step approach he calls the Abundance Accelerator.
Abundance Accelerator, love it. What are the 3 steps?
It involves clarifying your financial goals, visualizing with emotion, and taking inspired action.
Okay, so let's break it down, starting with clarifying financial goals. I'm guessing this goes beyond just saying, I want to be rich.
You're absolutely right. Mayan stresses the importance of being specific. It's about defining what financial freedom truly means to you.
So instead of just focusing on a dollar amount, it's about painting a picture of your ideal lifestyle experiences and contributions.
Precisely. He provides a series of questions to help listeners get clear on their vision. For example, what kind of home would you live in if money were no object? What experiences would you have? How would you use your wealth to make a difference in the world?
I love those questions. They really prompt you to think about the bigger picture and what truly matters to you.
And this detailed vision becomes the blueprint for your manifestation journey. It's like setting the GPS coordinates for your financial destination.
I love that analogy. But as we all know, simply having a destination in mind doesn't guarantee arrival. You need a vehicle and a map. So what's the vehicle in a Man's Abundance Accelerator?
He says the vehicle is visualization with emotion. And this isn't just about picturing yourself living your ideal life. It's about feeling the emotions associated with that reality.
Okay, so it's not just about seeing it, but about feeling it as if it's already happening.
Exactly. It's about embodying the joy, freedom, and gratitude that come with achieving your financial goals.
This is where it gets really interesting. I can see how simply visualizing might not be enough. You need to engage those emotions. But how does Amaral suggest we cultivate those emotions? Does he offer specific techniques?
He does. He recommends a technique called sensory immersion. He guides listeners through a visualization process where they engage all five senses to create a vivid and emotionally charged experience.
Oh, wow. That sounds powerful, like creating a virtual reality experience of your desired future.
You got it. And by engaging all your senses, you're essentially tricking your mind into believing that it's already happening.
Fascinating. So the more real you make the visualization, the stronger its impact on your subconscious mind.
Exactly. And the stronger the emotional connection, the more likely you are to attract that reality into your life.
Okay, so we've clarified our financial goals and created a vivid emotional vision. But I'm guessing there's more to it than just sitting around daydreaming about our dream life.
You're right. The final step in Amalson's Abundance Accelerator is what he calls inspired action. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. Yeah.
So it's about taking steps aligned with your vision, but not just any actions, right?
Exactly. It's about taking actions that are inspired by your intuition and inner guidance.
So it's not about forcing things or chasing every opportunity that comes your way.
Nope. It's about trusting your gut and taking actions that feel aligned with your authentic self and your financial goals.
I like that. It's about being in the flow and trusting the process.
Precisely. And Harmony emphasizes that when you're in alignment with your purpose, opportunities will flow to you effortlessly. It's about being open to receiving.
It reminds me of that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. It's like once you've clarified your vision and aligned your energy, the right opportunities will show up.
I love that analogy. It really captures the essence of inspired action. But it's also important to remember that it's not just about passively waiting for opportunities to fall into your lap.
Right. You still have to take initiative.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between inspired action and deliberate effort.
So how do you discern inspired actions from those that might be driven by fear or scarcity?
That's a great question. Amaan suggests a practice he calls intuition calibration.
Intuition calibration. That sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
It involves paying attention to your body's signals when you're considering an action or opportunity. Notice whether you feel expansion or contraction in your chest, a sense of lightness or heaviness in your gut.
Oh, wow. So it's about tuning into those subtle cues from our body.
Exactly. Those sensations can be indicators of whether an action is aligned with your true self and your vision.
That's really helpful advice. But I imagine this takes practice and discernment, especially if we're not used to listening to our intuition.
For sure, Amaan suggests keeping an intuition journal where you track your intuitive hits and misses. Over time, you'll start to recognize the nuances of your inner voice and gain confidence in your ability to discern inspired action.
I love that idea. It's like building a relationship with your intuition.
Exactly. And the more you trust and follow your intuition, the more aligned and fulfilling your life will become.
So we've covered the 3 key steps of Amar's Abundance Accelerator: clarifying financial goals, visualizing with emotion, and taking inspired action. It's already making me think about my own relationship with money in a new light.
That's great to hear. These simple yet profound shifts in perspective can be incredibly powerful.
And we've only just begun to scratch the surface of Amar's teachings. He also delves into specific money rituals that people can use to amplify their manifestation efforts.
Oh yeah, the rituals, I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear about those.
Me too. Especially that money manifestation jar. It sounds intriguing.
It definitely is. It's a tangible way to engage with the energy of money and solidify your intentions.
Okay, let's dive into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm really curious to unpack the psychology behind it and hear your insights on its effectiveness.
I'm happy to share what I've learned.
All right, so let's talk about this money manifestation jar. I have to admit, it sounds a bit like a craft project to me, but I'm guessing there's more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, definitely. It's more than just arts and crafts. It's about using symbolism and ritual to really solidify your intention and create a tangible focal point for your wealth goals.
Okay, so I'm picturing people putting dollar bills or lucky pennies in a jar. Is that the basic idea?
It can be that simple,
Yeah.
but it can also be more elaborate. Amaan suggests using a jar that you find visually appealing and energetically aligned with your intentions. Some people decorate their jars with crystals or images that represent wealth, or even write affirmations on slips of paper and put those inside.
So it's about creating a physical representation of your desired financial reality. But what's the psychology behind it? Is it just about having a visual reminder of your goals?
It's more than just a reminder. It's about creating a tangible link between your internal world and your external reality.
Yeah.
By physically placing objects that represent wealth into the jar, you're symbolically bringing your desires into the physical realm.
I see. And by regularly engaging with the jar, you're reinforcing those intentions and keeping your goals top of mind.
Exactly. It's like a physical manifestation of your vision board.
I like that analogy. But what about the actual process? Does Emolian give specific instructions on how to use the money manifestation jar?
He does. He suggests finding a quiet space where you can really focus your energy. As you place each item into the jar, you state your intention for financial abundance.
So you're speaking your intentions out loud as you perform the ritual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might say something like, I am attracting wealth into my life easily and effortlessly, or I'm open to receiving unlimited abundance.
It's like a mini affirmation practice combined with a physical action.
Right. And Amaan emphasizes the importance of infusing the ritual with emotion. Feel the joy, gratitude, and excitement as if you've already achieved your financial goals.
This ties back to the visualization with emotion we talked about earlier. It's about creating a multi-sensory experience.
Exactly. You're engaging your mind, body, and spirit.
Now, what about the objects themselves? Do they have to be specific things?
Amaan says the object should be personally meaningful and symbolize wealth or abundance to you. They could be coins, bills, crystals, jewelry, or even images that represent your financial goals.
So if someone's dream is to travel the world, they might put a miniature airplane or a picture of their dream destination in the jar.
Exactly. It's about personalizing the ritual to your specific vision.
I like that. It makes it more meaningful. And he also mentioned adding items that represent qualities you want to cultivate in your relationship with money, right?
Right. Like if you want to be more disciplined and responsible with your finances, you might include a small padlock or something that represents financial security to you.
That's interesting. It's not just about attracting more money. It's about attracting the right energy and mindset around money.
Exactly. It's about shifting your internal world to create a more abundant external reality.
This is really resonating with me. It seems like a powerful tool for personal growth and transformation.
It can be.
Huh.
But it's important to remember that the money manifestation jar is just a tool. It's not a magic wand.
Right. It's not about passively hoping for the best. It's about actively aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with your financial goals.
Exactly. The jar is a tangible representation of that commitment, but it's up to you to do the work.
So it's a tool to amplify your efforts, not a replacement for taking action.
Precisely.
You know, I'm curious, do you have any personal experience with using these kinds of manifestation techniques?
Well, you know me, I tend to be pretty analytical and data-driven, but I've come to appreciate the power of the mind-body connection and how symbolism and ritual can influence our reality.
I can relate to that. I'm also drawn to the practical, but I'm always open to exploring new approaches. So have you actually tried the money manifestation jar yourself?
I have. A few years ago, I was feeling kind of stuck in my career and unsure about my financial future. So I decided to create a money manifestation jar just as an experiment.
Really? What did you put in it?
I included things that represented my career aspirations, like a small book to symbolize knowledge and expertise, a miniature globe to represent expanding my reach globally, and a few crystals that I associate with abundance and success.
Interesting. And did you notice any shifts in your mindset or your finances after creating the jar?
It's hard to say for sure if it was directly because of the jar. But I did start to feel more clear about my goals and more motivated to take action.
And did anything happen?
Well, within a few months, I landed a new job that was a much better fit for me. And it came with a significant pay increase.
That's amazing. It sounds like the jar helped you clarify your goals, focus your energy, and attract the right opportunities.
It's possible. Even if it was just a placebo effect, the results were real.
That's a great point. Sometimes the belief itself is enough to create a shift.
Exactly. And I think that's the power of these practices. They can serve as powerful reminders of our intentions and empower us to take action.
But it's not about expecting miracles or getting rich quick, right?
Right. It's about aligning yourself with the flow of abundance and creating the conditions for success.
Okay, so we've talked about the benefits, but I'm also wondering about the potential downsides of focusing solely on manifesting wealth. Could it lead to an unhealthy obsession with money?
That's a valid concern. It's important to approach manifestation with a balanced perspective. Amaan emphasizes that true wealth encompasses all areas of life, not just your bank account.
So it's about cultivating abundance in our relationships, health, well-being, and spiritual connection as well.
Exactly. It's about creating a holistic sense of abundance. And Amazian suggests incorporating gratitude practices into your daily routine.
Gratitude is so important. It helps us appreciate what we have and attract more of what we desire.
Right. It's an antidote to scarcity thinking.
This is making me think about the bigger picture here. It's not just about manifesting wealth. It's about manifesting a more fulfilling and abundant life in all areas.
That's a great insight, and it brings us back to the idea of aligning your financial goals with your values.
It's not just about accumulating wealth for its own sake. It's about using it as a tool to create a better world.
Exactly. And to live a life that is truly meaningful and fulfilling.
I love that message. And I'm curious, has your perspective on manifestation shifted at all since we started this conversation?
Definitely. I'm starting to see how these practices can be tools for personal growth and transformation. I'm still a bit skeptical of some of the more mystical aspects.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the emphasis on self-awareness, intentionality, and taking aligned action.
I'm right there with you. It's about finding what resonates with you and integrating it into your own unique approach to life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of finding what resonates, I think it's time to explore another one of Amachian's practices, one that focuses on cultivating gratitude and abundance.
Oh, really? Tell me more. I'm intrigued.
He calls it the gratitude amplifier.
Gratitude amplifier. That sounds interesting. So this gratitude amplifier, what is it exactly?
Well, it's a pretty simple practice, actually.
Yeah.
It's about choosing one thing each day that you're genuinely grateful for.
Okay.
And then you spend a few moments just really immersing yourself in that feeling of gratitude, really soaking it in.
I can see how that would be beneficial, like shifting your focus to the positive.
Right. And to take it a step further, Amajinan suggests writing down 3 reasons why you're grateful for that specific thing.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just feeling it, but also expressing it.
Exactly. It helps you to really explore that feeling and uncover those deeper layers of appreciation.
I like that. And then what?
Well, then he suggests sharing your gratitude with someone else.
Ah, so it's about spreading that positive energy outward.
Exactly. It could be through a conversation,
Yeah.
letter, a text message,
Mm-hmm.
even a social media post. The point is to express it outwardly.
I can see how that would create a ripple effect, you know?
Right. And Amagyan believes that when you share your gratitude, it actually amplifies the positive energy and attracts more abundance into your life and the lives of those around you.
I love that idea. It's like paying it forward with gratitude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, I can also see how this practice might be challenging for some people.
Yeah, especially if they're going through a tough time.
Right. When you're feeling down or overwhelmed,
Uh,
it can be hard to find things to be grateful for.
Absolutely. But I guess that's where the real work comes in.
That's what Amaan says. He emphasizes that gratitude is a muscle that needs to be exercised, even when it feels difficult.
So even when you don't feel like it, you make the effort.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He suggests starting small. Focus on those simple everyday things. Even something as basic as having a roof over your head or clean water to drink can be a source of gratitude.
It's a good reminder to not take those things for granted.
For sure. And you know what? The more you practice gratitude, the more you'll notice things to be grateful for.
It's like training your brain to look for the positive.
Precisely. And that shift in perspective can make a huge difference in your overall well-being.
Absolutely. It's not just about your finances, it's about your whole outlook on life.
Exactly. And this whole conversation has really made me appreciate the broader implications of Amayan's teachings.
Oh, yeah. It's not just about manifesting wealth. It's about manifesting a more fulfilling and abundant life in all areas.
That's it. It's a holistic approach to abundance.
So financial abundance is important, but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Right. It's about creating a life that's aligned with your values, filled with purpose, and enriched by meaningful connections.
That's beautifully said. And gratitude is a key ingredient in that recipe.
Couldn't agree more.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Amalaisen's teachings, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I'd say the most important thing is to cultivate that mindset of abundance.
Right. Challenge those limiting beliefs.
Exactly.
Ah.
And embrace the possibility that you are worthy and deserving of all the good things life has to offer.
And don't forget, it's a journey, not a destination.
That's right. There will be bumps along the road, but it's about staying committed to the process, trusting your intuition, and taking inspired action.
And finding that balance between inner work and outer action.
Exactly. It's about aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with your desired outcomes.
And gratitude practice daily. Gratitude daily.
Don't forget that. It's a powerful tool.
So powerful.
It can really amplify abundance in all areas of your life.
Well said. Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. So to our listeners, we encourage you to explore these concepts further. See what resonates with you. Experiment with the practices that appeal to you and see what shifts you experience in your own life.
It's all about exploration and discovery.
That's the beauty of personal growth.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on this fascinating exploration of manifesting wealth. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
And to all our listeners out there, we wish you abundance, purpose, and joy on your journey.